Good morning and welcome to the BLACKBIRD PLC Interim Results Investor Presentation. Throughout this recorded presentation, investors will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time via the Q&A tab situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Simply type in your questions and press send. The company may not be in a position to answer every question it receives during the meeting itself. However, the company will review all questions submitted today and publish responses where it is appropriate to do so. Before we begin, I'd like to submit the following poll. I'd now like to hand you over to CEO Ian McDonough. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you very much. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our interim results, September 23. I'm going to kick off. So first of all, we're here with Stephen Streeter, of course, the founder of the business, and Stephen White, who is the COO and CFO. So I'm going to kick off with a slide that just really introduces who we are and what we do for those that are new to the story. So we are BLACKBIRD PLC. We're AIM listed. We have actually all the directors of the business are investors in the business, and just recently, the last 24 hours, Stephen and myself have added to our holding and bought shares in the market. So Stephen holds around 18% of the stock. My family and I hold around 7.5% of the stock. And what we do is we develop, we're a software developer and seller of a SaaS platform called BLACKBIRd. BLACKBIRd is a web-based cloud video editing platform that is used in the professional market. It's all browser-based, and it has around 29 patents, including those that are pending around the core technology. In addition, we also are launching a creator SaaS product early 2024. It will have early access to customers actually in Q4 this year, and that is going to be targeted at the creator economy, the fast-growing creator economy sector. Now, this technology is proven at the very highest level of sport and news. We have marquee customers. It's been proven over a number of years, and it's highly scalable and efficient. It is also multi-award winning, as you can see from the bottom there, and it qualifies as more than 50% of our revenue comes from green, carbon efficient technology. It qualifies for the green economy mark on the London Stock Exchange. So 2023 today, this is an interesting presentation for me because it's the first time I'm presenting numbers that haven't grown since I've joined. And there's a number of reasons for that. Firstly is that there was a couple of non-recurring items in our numbers last year. One was the Winter Games we did in early 2022. And second was the EVS development fee that we took last year as revenue that haven't recurred in 2023. But the other main reasons are that we've been really double down on developing our creator SaaS product. And that has led to some difficult decisions around refocusing of resources to get the biggest bang for buck on our resource base. We've doubled down on development and product, and we are very close now to approaching early access with our creator SaaS product. That has been the main thrust of focus to the business in the last 12 months. The creator strategy, of course, has been in place since 2019. I've been showing that to investors since then. I can show the slides that around that later. And we raised money for this project in 2021, spent early 2022 recruiting the additional members of the team required, late part of 22 and early 23 developing the product, and we're very close to launch. So our core platform, what has that been doing in 23? Well, we've been on pretty much every single major sports tournament this year. We've been on Wimbledon, on the US Open, we've been on the golf for the Open, we've been on the Women's World Cup, we're going to be on the Rugby World Cup in the next few weeks, on the Super Bowl. Secretary of State Blinken on the US State Department, he talks directly into the BLACKBIRd platform for creating his communication videos for his audiences. And we're, of course, in many news stations around the world, and especially the US, through Town News. There's a couple of quotes here. One is from a global sports federation. One of the ones that's been mentioned, but I can't actually say the name of it. They've said they've been using BLACKBIRd now for almost 2 years, and they totally love it. That word wasn't actually totally, that word actually began with an F, but I didn't want to put that on the screen for those that might be offended, but they're very keen on using BLACKBIRd. And it's also, the US State Department said it's very robust and very reliable. That can't be underplayed in terms of value. It's really important for the technology, software is robust and reliable. It's the real magic sauce that this company has and what separates us out from the competition. A little bit of context about the core market that we have traditionally always been focused on, which is media entertainment. We are experiencing in this market a period of muted top line growth. Really, this market has been going through some significant changes over the last 5 to 10 years, and it's accelerated over the last 2 years since COVID, where a lot of collapse of the revenue windows for that market has led to widespread layoffs, structural changes. It's generally it's a small market for us, and it's also a market that's not going through any growth right now. So going to take you through the backward-looking numbers now with Steve, and then we'll talk about the creator economy in the next part of the presentation.
Thank you, Ian. So revenue, on the back of what Ian just said, we had a couple of large non-recurring items in 2022, which is the principal reason why we've fallen. It's also a slow-moving market. Ian's just giving you the context behind that. Our monthly recurring revenue is down. We announced in May that unfortunately we lost the A&E contract, which counts for the majority of that fall. A reminder that our annual minimum guarantee that we have on our tech licensing deal, which this year amounts to 220,000 euros, is not part of that MRR figure. So our order book is full of the trend in terms of it's a slow-moving marketplace at the moment, and we had 2.1 million at the end of June. On the cash side, moving on to the next slide, we have a very strong, healthy balance sheet with 8.2 million of resources at the end of June 2023. This is a really great position to be in, to be able to launch and market and gain traction with our Creator SaaS product. We are debt-free as well, so that healthy balance sheet should not be underestimated in this macroeconomic climate.
So to give you some context of the market that we are aligning ourselves to, which is the creator economy, this is an enormous space. Goldman Sachs have recently estimated the size of the market to be around $250 billion, which is mind-blowing. That's up from 103 billion just a couple of years ago. So you can see that this market is not only enormous, it's also in a very healthy growth period, and it's going to double again by 2027, is the forecast. Now, we're not going to tackle the whole market at once with our product. That would be impossible. I think that we're going to look at the prosumers and pro teams products market, where we feel as a business we have a sweet spot, we have competitive advantages, and there are major problems to be solved in that market that the current products in the market do not cater for. So that is going to be the key focus to begin with. That's the pro teams and the prosumers. That is around a $7 billion initial addressable market size. This is the slide I referred to earlier, which shows that we've always had this progression in our sites, that we've moved from M&E to OEM, like the EBS deal, the licensing deal, right across to the Creator SaaS product, where we're right on the cusp of launching this into the market now. The incumbents in this market, it should be said that the new product that's being launched, it won't have the same name as we currently have, and we'll talk more about that later. But the incumbents in this market are really the major Hollywood tools, the traditional NLE, non-linear editor tools, such as Avid, Apple Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, and Adobe Premiere, which are archetypal sledgehammers to crack a nut. These are Hollywood-level tools, highly complex software that's based on one machine only, on a very high-powered machine, being required to cut fairly basic video. And that's not what the audience require. So there have been a number of new entrants to this market, such as Scenery, Runway, and CapCut. And Ozone is a product that's launching fairly soon. These products can have added AI or collaborative nature to their portfolio. However, they do not have the magic sauce, the magic that BLACKBIRD has in being able to work with video at scale on the web. The closest to this product is probably Scenery, which has got a collaborative interface and has got largely some of the same target audience as us. However, for every time a video is loaded into a Scenery window, there is some level of delay, and that is generally down to the fact they don't have the BLACKBIRD codec that Stephen has invented over the years and is driving forward with the new BLACKBIRD 10, which will be a new product. Just to mention the other platforms here very quickly. CapCut is owned by ByteDance, which is the parent company of TikTok. And Runway was started off as an editor with an AI element to it. Has mainly become an AI think tank and research lab now. And as I say, Ozone is yet to launch, but this is the bleeding edge of where the market currently is, and really shows the validation for what we want to do in this space. Shows that there is a significant market there. But we feel confident that we're highly differentiated and answering product questions and needs that they're not. Now, our Creator SaaS product is going to be architected entirely and natively on AWS, which is something we've always talked about as an ambition. That's now becoming a reality in the next few weeks to launch. The initial customers will be pro teams and prosumers. We've been working very closely with these groups over the ideation and development of the product. So we're working with the pro AV group, we're working with high-end YouTubers, we're working with students, and we're working with a vast array of people that really told us about their market needs. So this is very much in touch with what they are. And they are largely the fact that current technology is way too complex, it's way too expensive to run, it is fixed in one particular place, and it has no collaborative features to it at all. So if you want to work together on a video, the video generally has to be sent between people to review and approve or to work collaboratively. Our software will allow this to happen simultaneously on the same timeline, being able to see the same each other's cursor and be able to review, approve, or even work completely collaboratively on a piece of video. So very, very exciting. We're actually, being the CEO of this business as a listed business, I have several audiences to talk to at the same time, and on this I'm sure I am talking to a number. Our investors, we've got our customers, we've got my team, but I also have the competitors, and so I've got to be very careful of that. What we're doing next week is having a behind closed doors, real in-depth look at the new product on an investor event on the 30th of September. So there's going to be a lot of people signed up for that from an RNS, and we look forward to seeing you there, those that are going to be coming along, and giving you a much more in-depth look. So just before I get to the conclusion slide, I want to also touch on the fact that we've got a world-class team. I spent the best part of last year utilising the resources that we'd raised in 2021, bringing in this world-class team with a track record. Sumit Rai, who I think is known to many of you, is our Chief Product Officer. He'll be hosting next week. Mo Bolans, who came with him from Vegas Pro, will also be hosting next week and is heading up product marketing. Morgan Henry, who's heading our VP of engineering, and allowed Stephen to free himself up to really drive our technology forward with BLACKBIRD 10. It's worth noting when I say they've got a track record that Sumit has sold his own company at a young age to a NASDAQ listed company, and spent the last few years running the 4th largest editing platform in the market, which is called Vegas Pro. So not only has he got excellent personal attributes, he's also got incredibly relevant personal experience. Again, we're building this platform on a proven technology that has marquee customers at the very highest value of media, and we have 29 patents on our platform, including those that are pending, that are mainly based around the access to video and the navigation of video and the frame accurate manipulation of video on the web. So in conclusion, we are very confident about our strategy. We know that we're going into a place where there's growth, that we're early to market, the competition, we have a real competitive advantage and differentiation over the competition with proven technology. We've got the right team, the timing is good, and we have a very strong balance sheet that will get this product into the market and with early traction. So thank you very much. We'll go to questions.
Ian, Stephen, thank you very much for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions using the Q&A tab situated on the top right-hand corner of your screen. Just while the company take a few moments to review those questions submitted today, I'd like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed by your investor dashboard. As you can see, we have received a number of questions throughout today's presentation. Could I ask you to read out the questions and give responses where appropriate to do so, and I'll pick up from you at the end.
Yeah, we seem to have lost control of our mouse. We'll Yeah, I can see the first question, so I'll start off at least. So the first question is, what is the status of further OEM opportunities, and can you detail how much revenue has been attributed to sales via EBS? So the quick answer is that we've retained a team in the US to focus on OEM opportunities. So the sales and sales support, because we now see the way that the business will scale will be through the Trace SaaS product and through larger deals on the OEM side. So that's still very much a focus for the business. I can't give any forward-looking projections on that, as we don't give forecast out. In terms of EBS, we haven't yet exceeded our minimum guarantee. EBS is still at the point of deploying to the initial first customer that we talked about at the full year and at the AGM, which actually gives an indication of how that market is fairly slow to move and adopt technology quickly. So EBS are really the Rolls Royce of that market. They're working very closely with that gold standard broadcaster, but there's been nothing really I can say at this point that has exceeded the minimum guarantee. Second question, how many Powered by Blackbird deals are in the pipeline, and what is the forecast of value in the licensing revenue? Well, so we don't give forecast out on that side of the business. When we get to the creator SaaS side of it, there's going to be a lot more access to metrics that we can talk about. So not dodging the question, but there's not an awful lot of detail that we're going to give out on that side of things. So not going to give the number of Powered by. We did talk about a large company that was larger than EBS that were in discussions with us at the full year results. That company has undergone a corporate action and is now a PE company. There's been a lot of activity at the company, and it's not currently a company that we're talking to. That said, they haven't yet solved their web video editing problems, and so there may be a discussion in the future, but not currently. How many direct sales have been closed since the removal of the marketing and sales team outside the person remaining in the US? As I said, we've been focusing, doubling down on our development and product teams. There have been direct deals that have come in the last few months. We are not currently breaking those out in our numbers, but I really wanted the team in the US to focus on the OEM and larger deal size for us, which of course are generally lumpy in nature. So there's been nothing of significant size that's come in on the last few months, but there have been smaller deals that have come in, but we're really trying to focus on those bigger deals. How much will a free tier user account cost Blackbird per month? And what is the forecast conversion rate, and how did you calculate this? We'll talk more about the greater product at the event next week, of course, but what we are saying at this point in terms of resources, we have enough resource to get our products built and launched and with initial marketing. And that is as much as I can say at the moment. We'll be opening the lid on it a bit more next week if you're in a crowded marketplace dominated by marketing dollars, how is Blackbird going to stand out in the saturated environment? What are the USPs of the creator platform now that we're back-ended in the public cloud? And costs will have risen considerably. Many of the initial Blackbird USPs of being in a private cloud and not handling any hires content have been discounted as a consequence. High-res content. Yes. Okay. So a lot of questions there. Thank you very much. A lot of this is going to be covered next week. Certainly covering off details around USPs. As I mentioned earlier, it's difficult talking publicly about something that we know that we're going to have eyes on us from competitors. However, I can say top line, I just cover it in the presentation. It's a web-based tool. It's going to have a collaborative nature to it. It's going to be an extensible platform, and it's built on our core technology. They're the key areas that I would say on that.
And I mean, without going into details, because we'll be doing more next week, the core technology does make the system more efficient and more cost-effective. And if you look at our gross margins in M&E, you'll see how it plays out. And with the AWS version, we will be much more efficient, we think, than the competitors.
I think that's an important point. I think also the fact that those other competitors that I showed on the bleeding edge technology slide, if you remember that one with Ozone and Sino, etc. They're great, they look nice, but they don't actually work well as an editor for a professional editing solution or even a creator or influencer editing solution, because they don't have the fluidity and the speed to access those frames or the navigation. So yeah, I think we'll cover off a little bit there, but we will be talking obviously a lot more next week. The second half of the question was really about the USPs of BLACKBIRD being in a private cloud. Well, the USPs of BLACKBIRD is not just about being in a private cloud. The architecture of the private cloud will be in many ways replicated in our area of AWS, so there's nothing to be changed there. What will be different though is that we'll be allowing our customers to store their high res, their video in our instance of AWS. So in that respect, we will be not just handling that little tiny bit of proxy, but actually we'll be responsible for handling the high res as well, which is an exciting area that we've never done before. Can you explain why the share price is slow after 24 years? When will it increase? Well, as you can see from our actions in the last 24 hours, we have great confidence in the share price improving dramatically. And so there's not much else I can say there about explaining the stock market, but I have confidence. Nothing's guaranteed, but I have confidence in the future improvements in share price. Stephen, maybe you want to comment before as well?
Yeah, I mean we're in a sort of Ukraine war and all those things, but all these things will merge. People will get used to them. Things will get fixed, and then when it is fixed, we'll find there's still all these creators out there wanting to make their videos. And video is relatively hard, but we solved it a long time ago, and we're continuing to improve that. So we're going to ride that wave. So I'm not so worried about like this week or last week, to be honest.
Why have all the sales staff been let go? I understand you don't need so many staff for Creator, but if Summit and Co are developing a product, who will be responsible for raising subscriber numbers? So we've let the UK sales and marketing, we've reduced the headcount in the UK sales and marketing team, largely because we've taken the decision that area of the business is not going to scale to the level that we expect or we would want to expect from our investments. We've kept the US side of it because the US side of it is where the opportunity for OEM and large scale deals will come from, and that's intact. Now, in terms of the creator space, it's going to be a self-service model. It's going to be available on a credit card at any time, 24/7, 365. So we don't need direct salespeople for that. Now, if Summit is developing the product, I don't know if everyone has met Mo Volans, but Mo Volans will certainly be responsible for the marketing and for making sure those subscriber numbers are indeed healthy and growing quickly. What is EVS earning for the company? I think it says what is EVA, but I think it's EVS earning for the company. And when is the next PPP being announced? Well, as I mentioned earlier, we can't talk about the next PPP deal at this stage, but EVS is currently earning it's what we've explained earlier, which is its minimum guarantee. We're up to our second year of that minimum guarantee right now. We are confident that it will exceed that within the 5-year period. However, it has been slower than we expected to roll out to its first gold standard customer, which, as I said, gives some indication of how slow the M&E market can move, which is why several years ago we talked about moving to the greater space, why we raised the money in 2021 to do so. When will we be profitable and dividends being paid to shareholders? I can't comment on that right now. I'd say that the new product, when the new product is launched, it will follow the SaaSonomics curve, which is it will be an investment phase at the start, and then will be largely a steep growth curve after around year 3. The key thing about this is that it's going to be a lot more in our control in terms of the top line, in terms of the sales cycles. Right now we have a Formula One engine that's sold to a limited number of customers. I'm using the analogy. We're going to be having a production vehicle that's going to be sold to a much larger market. Sales cycles will be shorter, and we'll be much more in control of our top line in the future. And I'll be giving shareholders and investors much more access to metrics when that is launched.
It's worth adding on our existing M&E business that we're almost at a positive contribution. We're pushing to get to that level.
Yeah, that's a very important point. You said by fourth quarter that you would reveal where your company was going with the numbers and turnover. Is that still on? Well, I think what we said by the fourth quarter was that we would talk about when we're going to launch the new product, and we're stating that again, that we launch in Q1. And those that are going to be in the early access phase, they will get first eyes on it in quarter 4. At this stage, as I said, until we launch the new product, opening up all the metrics that we've got is not something that we're planning to do. Where will this company be by the end of the year? We'll be at the first end of the first period of our early access, and looking forward to Q1, where we'll be launching the greatest success product. At the last results presentation, we were told you were in talks around PBB with a company larger than EVS. Yes, I've mentioned that already. That is a company that's gone through a corporate action as now a private equity company. So they haven't solved the issues they were talking to us about yet. That could be a conversation. Ian, you said there was going to be a shockwave coming. Well, I have to say I didn't anticipate that the first product, the first customer that EVS was launching would be quite so long-winded and slow. I have to say that's a reflection of the market, not of our product. It's a very large suite of technology that they're launching into that product. We're still awaiting that shockwave. We'll hopefully see it soon. Having abandoned the sales force, how does the company plan to commercialize the outputs of Summit Rise Creative Group? Again, we talked about it being a self-service product. I've not abandoned the commercial team, I've abandoned the frontline sales team. We do have a marketing team, and this will all be sold and interfaced directly with a tech interface and not a human interface. It is well understood among FMCG companies, including all the media forms, that annual conventions such as IBC provide an opportunity for customers to catch up with the company's thinking, forward plans, product developments, new ideas, etc. Yes, that's very true. And we will be attending IBC, just won't be attending it with a stand this year, with our own booth. And that is because I can see those customers at a lower investment level than I would be to put a stand there. We're in the midst of launching a brand new product, as I've mentioned several times, and I have finite resources. I need to make sure that we put our resources where we're going to get most return. And that is, I believe, in making sure that we're doubling down on developers and doubling down on product specialists to get that product to market. Can someone explain why the commercial side of the company has failed over the years to sell successfully the world-beating tech developed by Stephen Streeter? Well, as I said at the start, we've indeed we've grown our business. Well, I didn't say at the start, but we have marquee customers in the very top end of media and sports and entertainment. It is a market right now that is not growing. It's a market that has got entrenched competition, and it is a market that we feel we're better addressing a faster growing market where we're early to market. So it's, we've got the marquee customers, we've got the proven technology, and it's really time now for us to get into a market where we're early and we can scale quickly. It is so difficult to match the multi-award winning BLACKBIRD software enthusiasm reports for the trade shows and the world-class sporting events reported using BLACKBIRD with the low enterprise sales and continual losses. EVS reported the potential by BLACKBIRD, so why not more big companies? And in a nutshell, what's the problem? Again, we talked about the status of the market currently, and we really want to talk about the emphasis in building a product that's easily available that can scale quickly. Yes, we've got a great reputation. Yes, we've got fantastic pedigree. Again, the Formula One analogy really rings true for this. It's a limited market, and it's a specialized product. We want to make that Formula One engine a road vehicle and sell it to a mass market. With the March finals release, there was a reference to a potential expansion with EVS. How has this additional piece of work progressed? Well, we've called that one already in this question and answer session already, so it's still waiting. Will next week's attendees be on an NDA and made inside? No, we're not signing NDAs with everyone next week, but we won't be allowing people to video, etc. It is really about making sure that we have verified investors with the best interests of the company at heart there. Stephen, this is you. Go ahead.
Yes, so we will support features in the existing. Stephen Streeter with the Creator app launch. are you launching all the features you have developed, or do you have further features which will be added later in order to keep the app looking fresh? And the answer is yes, we will support the features we have, but significantly there are quite a few modernising upgrades that Sumit, as product CPO, has decided we need, and he will be talking about that next week. And the early access people will be helping to develop those in experiment. But we have quite a few things that we can do now, which were not needed in M&E, but we think the creators will be able to benefit from it. So yes, you'll be able to see those in the coming months.
And over the following the launch of the product, certainly in the 2 years following the launch of the product, we already have a full slate of additional features that will be added, and that will really keep the product looking fresh. Will give us a continual dialogue with the customers and enlarge the customer base over time, enlarge the use cases over time.
Yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that the actual editing interface has been made much more accessible to editors. As you may know, when we started, there weren't really any significant editors out there back in prehistory. But now the technology supports any interface that the product team wants. And a lot of the work they've been doing in the last year has been to design the interface to be much more accessible for modern editors.
Great. Steve, can I pick up the...
Yeah. Next question is, it was previously said that enterprise would be profitable within its own cash resources, i.e. excluding the 2021 placing. Is this still the case? Well, I answered that earlier in that, that side of the business, we are at a point where we're almost making a positive contribution. With further deals added to that, yes, it will get to a profitable position.
Has EVS attracted any customers for VIA Create other than the initial deployment? I mean, we're in a slightly awkward situation here because obviously EVS is a publicly listed business on the Belgian Stock Exchange. I'm not able to give any insight into what their pipeline is if they haven't released that information. Currently, as I said, we're still working on the first, EVS is still working on the first deployment. Thanks for your presentation. In terms of your capital allocation priorities, how are you looking to balance the need for cost cuts and headcount reductions in certain areas with continuing to invest and develop in others? Thanks for the question, Matt. Yeah, we're really looking to make sure we get the best return on our resources. I say that it is a healthy balance sheet, but a finite resource, and it's about making decisions in a timely way, mainly around where we think there is the best return. And as I've said before, I think the best return for us is to make sure that we get that product to market quickly and that we scale it quickly. That is where our emphasis is going. Can you give an indication as to AI integration in the SaaS? For example, will you be offering prompt-based editing solutions? If you want to pick it
Yeah, so we will have AI features. This is much more Sumit's role to announce those.
Yeah.
But as the product moves forward, you can expect integration. And I will just mention from a technical point of view, because we've always been in the cloud, but because there are now other people in the cloud, that allows us to integrate much more easily with third-party solutions, which means that we're not limited to just the solutions we can develop in-house. So that opens up the whole platform. And I think this is something that Sumit will probably be talking about next week.
Yeah, there's a danger here that we're going to slip into next week's presentation, so we need to kind of be a bit disciplined on that one. But do you have, William's asked a question, do you have third parties signed up to the new greater platform to provide extra functionality? Well, this is a plugin architecture, and so there'll be more detail on that next week in terms of what kind of functionality that will be. But this is a plugin architecture which is extensible by nature, and so therefore will include third parties. Another question on AI. I think we just covered how will AI be incorporated. Again, William, that will be something to talk about that in the presentation next week. Question from JL. First, cash burn is up from 0.9. Oh, Jet, you want to pay this one?
Yeah, cash burn is up from 0.9 million. How does the projection of the cash flow balance sheet in the next 3 years? Jimmy, I think that's Jimmy Louis asking the question. Let's answer that one first. We're not giving cash flow forecasts out. As Ian reiterated earlier, we have enough cash resources to launch, to market, and see if our SaaS product gains traction. We will, going after a big market and everything, if the product's successful, we're going to need cash to scale the business after that point. Second question is, have you thought of working in conjunction with a major medium film producers on the grounds that the film will do well and you end up in the credits?
Great question. Yes, we thought about that. Again, this is not an area to cover off in this presentation. That's much more in Mo Boland's area of the product marketing. And Mo has a wealth of experience in launching video and audio products into the creative space, and so has a wide variety of strategies that he will employ.
Yeah, which will be very different to how we market Blackbird at the moment.
Yeah, very different. Yeah. David, are you looking to be involved in the America's Cup in 2024 through the relationship with SailGP? And do you see yourselves involved with Reuters via Imogen after the Thomson Reuters buyout of Imogen? At this stage, we can't comment, David, on any future deals. Obviously, it's good that Blackbird's in the mix with those different companies, but difficult to comment on individual deals at this stage. Will you be partnering with organisations that will market the creative SaaS product to their audience in return for their commission? If so, do you have any agreements in place or underway, and do the organisations have large audience bases? Well, partnership marketing is very much an effective way of getting early traction, getting revenue through the door early, in fact, and also getting brand recognition. It's something that we worked on in the past. Summit and Mo worked a great deal on when they did Vegas Pro, and definitely part of our mix. Again, probably something that will be covered off in more detail next week. Could the creative product with some extra features be elevated into the broadcast market at a later date? Very possibly, Nick. This is not something part of our initial launch strategy, and it certainly doesn't require it to be something that to get to scale. We can get scale way before this. But if the product develops over time into a technical space, and we decide strategically that's the way we would go, it's entirely possible.
Yeah, I might just add another point, which is that the broadcast market will also be changing, just because of the way the media market is changing. And the fact that we can already support all the needs of the broadcast market, which is quite particular, means that it will be well placed for the people in broadcast who need more, better tools, web-based tools, will be able to use our product for their content too. So yes, the answer is we could do that, and we'll see how it goes, exactly how that would work.
Yeah. Good, thanks. From JL, the British Library and Department of British and Trade try to offer help to international commerce. Have you thought of contacting them? Yeah, we did actually. We were working with them on a number of industry shows around the time that I joined. Yes, there is a possibility that we could work with them in the future. Should be required. Thanks, JL. The company which you mentioned were interested in Powered by Blackbird, which went to private equity, who I believe we know. Why wouldn't they come back to the table? They might do grant. I can't comment at this stage. But second question from you: anyone interested in buying us out? Can't comment on that either. Thank you though for the question. Yeah, good. Okay, that seems to have completed the questions for today. Any other questions from anyone before we finish?
Ian, Stephen, thank you. And I think you've addressed all those questions you can from investors today. And of course, the company will review all questions submitted today, and we will publish those responses on the Investor Meet Company platform. Before redirecting investors to provide you with their feedback, which I know is particularly important to yourself and the company, Ian, could I please just ask you for a few closing comments?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. We close with just leaving you with the fact we have a very exciting period of development over the next couple of months. And certainly going into early 2024, where you'll see the product in the market. We have a super team that have got a track record, proven technology, perfect timing, and a strong balance sheet. So really looking forward to this next period of time and being able to report back in a few months' time on our progress. Thank you very much.
Ian, Stephen, thank you for updating investors today. Can I please ask investors not to close this session, as you'll now be automatically redirected to provide your feedback in order that the management team can better understand your views and expectations. This will only take a few moments to complete, and I'm sure will be greatly valued by the company. On behalf of the management team of BLACKBIRD PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's presentation. To you all.
Thank you very much.